Alright guys, so we've been watching a lot of wealth related videos, and it's actually pretty interesting that this one came up here called I investigated Japan's fake poor influencers. I have not heard about this, although you do see some pretty crazy stuff when you go on TikTok. I've seen some ones where some people are like perhaps pretending to be in like almost unlivable situations where they're eating moldy foods and stuff like that. I've seen videos of people living in like very tiny apartments and things, and I'm very curious to see what specifically Patisse is talking about here. But all right guys, let's see what he's talking about here.
I found something crazy. Recently, I exposed the fake salaryman Grift, where people in Japan were scamming their audience by pretending to be overworked Japanese salarymen while begging for donations.
Oh shoot, that's crazy. You know, honestly, I don't think it's fake, but there seems to be like, you know, I'm not gonna say like a big amount of people, but there's like some content creators on YouTube right now that post their homeless experience, and it does make me question if those are actually real. But in this case, it is pretty apparent that it's obviously not real here.
However, while I was digging through these salarymen and figuring out the inconsistencies by finding the rental offices these guys,
yeah, I wonder how they found out if they're
I realized this fake poor
actually poor or not.
Went much deeper than I thought. During my research, I came across this woman. The interesting thing about her content was that while she wasn't pretending to be a salaryman, her approach was seemingly almost identical. The videos she made were also silent vlogs without narration, and the way we got to learn about her was
yeah, there's a lot of videos like this on YouTube, bro. There's so many. And honestly, there's some in Western countries as well. Like I've seen some US ones where they kind of make like these videos essentially where they kind of want the audience to feel bad for them in their situation. And a lot of times, you know, the ones where they are real, it is actually really insane, because there are some real Japanese content creators that do share like their homeless or struggling experience. And I can tell those are possibly real, but then it kind of does get to a point once you see like all the donations and stuff that they get, it kind of does make you question if they're just choosing this because they want to milk the whole situation, because that's what they made their brand off of. But this, I feel like, I don't know, let's see.
The crazy thing was that even though she had only put out 4 videos so far, she had already gone extremely viral and received thousands of
they get so many views.
That's when I realized that the salaryman grift that I had exposed earlier was only a part of a much bigger grifting network.
Right, exactly. It just seems like one big grift, honestly. But again, I'm sure there are some legitimate people, but a lot of times I've seen some people milk the whole situation as well.
This woman was only one of the hundreds of similar people using her videos to scam her audience. So, how can a silent YouTube vlog be a scam? To find that out, we have to look very closely. In her videos, she claims to be a 31-year-old divorced housewife.
Oh my gosh, I actually seen this video, I think. I actually seen this exact video get recommended to me, and I watched it, and I was a little curious as to how this person got into the situation that they're in and stuff like that. But it's actually crazy because at the time, she did only have like 2 videos, and that shit just blew up, bro. That had so many views. So I knew she was gonna be good regardless if it's real.
The cold north after her husband left her. According to her, she is extremely lonely, as even her parents have disavowed her for being a failure, and the only thing she has in her life
That's a cute rabbit
and the heater to give her warmth.
She's eating ice cream in front of the heater.
Every day is a life and death struggle for her, as she barely has money to survive, and in each of her videos, she's either dying of cold or hunger in her nice apartment. In this video, she claims to be so hungry that she can't even remember the last time she had a proper warm meal.
Oh, come on. Come on, bro.
Collapses to the floor and starts going through her wallet, where she only has a couple of dollars left. She decides to go to her car in order to go to the supermarket.
I think the fact, hold on, let me pause this. I think the fact that she has a car in Japan should say enough about this woman's finances. She is low on gas, it looks like, but at the same time, if she has a car, she's able to pay for insurance and a lot of the other fees that Japan requires to own a car. I would say she's maybe not doing as bad as she's trying to make it out to seem. The fact that she thinks that she can't remember when she had a nice warm meal is kind of crazy in Japan. Let's see though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're wrong.
Option, she starts driving, but then realizes halfway through that if she keeps driving, she won't have enough gas to go to work tomorrow. Calling this a pinch is an understatement. This is a life or death crisis. She then teleports back to her apartment and starts going through her items to find something to sell. Tears almost well up, but she doesn't even have the luxury to cry. After all, right now she needs 1 liter of diesel more than any shining memories. However, one thing catches my eye.
Yeah, or just food at least.
Now, I don't know much about fashion, but I could swear that is a Michael Kors leather tote. I'm not saying it's impossible for a poor lonely woman to...
Yeah, I mean, to be devil's advocate here, maybe she got that before she broke up with her husband and everything. Maybe that she got all these things before then. But let's see what else he says here, because I don't know. Maybe he's wrong here.
Luxury items or to be able to teleport, but this kind of dramatic storyline about life or death while owning the latest iPhone and expensive fashion does make me think
she could be in debt though. She could be in debt.
Videos. Because this isn't a thing that's happened once or twice, since if you pay close attention to her videos, you'll notice that for someone who is on the verge of dying to hunger and barely scraping by alone in the cold north, she does have a slightly expensive taste, as can be seen in this video where she is telling her audience how poor she is by showing how she has no
Prada wallet?
in her wallet. But then, when you search that wallet,
Prada wallet?
you'll find out
That's...
it costs almost $1,000.
I mean, maybe it's just fake though. Maybe it's fake.
This video should be shown in English classes as the dictionary definition of irony. And if you're thinking she isn't actually being serious with the life or death thing, here she is withdrawing her supposed low-income salary from an ATM to put in an envelope, and while she is driving back home with the money, she says that if something happens with the envelope and she loses it, next month she will die. And do any of you...
Okay, that's a bit dramatic.
Sentence, she makes it...
That is pretty dramatic.
She's not speaking metaphorically or exaggerating.
She has some kind of health condition.
Die. Which begs the question, why withdraw the money in cash in the first place? Oh, I get it. To count it on camera, of course.
Well, all right, hold on. To be fair, so a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of things are cash only in Japan. Although when it comes to certain things like this, I don't think it would be cash only, honestly. I think you could use your credit card or a debit card.
We can all see exactly how little money she has left and help her by donating. I hope this helps you have a nice meal. Just a little something to help you see to better days.
Wow. Wow. 100, 200. Wow.
People there are in the world. Humanity will be okay. I truly believe in the end. Now, I would have thought no one would believe in these videos, and not because of the inconsistencies or anything like that, but because calling these videos dramatic would be an understatement, as they are completely unrealistic to anyone who actually bothers to read the subtitles below. Not only are the storylines completely...
Triple jobs? Triple jobs? She has 3 jobs, but she can't remember when she had a nice warm meal. That's a little suspicious.
Subtitles are written are so over the top. It's
yeah, that's pretty suspicious.
Observe.
What is this?
The Sub-Zero world slapped my flushed cheeks.
Oh, this is like an example.
Took for the engine to start. Felt like an eternity. Just intense nausea and magma-like anger swirled inside me. Smells I used to love now choked me like toxic... What the fuck? Who's that guy? It would seem like the lonely divorced woman isn't actually that lonely after all.
What? That's probably just a delivery guy or something.
Film these dramatic videos about her...
Maybe it's a sibling.
...quote-unquote real life. The reason these videos are written so over the top is because the subtitles are generated using ChatGPT, which has a trouble understanding the line between a romance novel and a YouTube video. The AI often even hallucinates things to the woman's story, and I have no idea why she doesn't fix these when she's editing the video, because in here, for example, the AI came up with this poetic idea of how the smell of the kerosene coming from the heat...
Yeah, it's not kerosene heater.
...is like the smell of burning money, which is a cool idea, But sadly, her
It's an electrocutor.
doesn't smell of kerosene because, well, it's electronic. I've seen some people make the claim that the reason these kind of grifting videos have such complex English is because the people doing this are all Chinese government-backed foreigners trying to make Japan look bad, and I'm just going to say there's a simple...
Yeah, that's a bit much.
When these silent, faceless, low-effort videos that anyone could film on their phone started getting millions of views and tens of thousands...
Yeah, they get so many views, guys. Like, it's actually crazy. We don't have more people doing this grift. At least more people in the US. Because it's actually insane how many views it does. Should I actually do a grift of this?
...in donations, it's no surprise people jumped on the trend. If something gets popular on the internet, people simply tend to follow the money, and ironically, these people making these conspiracy claims are proving my point for also wanting to make a video about this after mine started to get popular. And to be clear, a handful of these channels are run by foreigners too, because from what I've
Right.
roughly 4 out of the top 20 people doing this.
I never seen this one here though. I never seen the payday ones. I never got that deep into it, I suppose, but I don't quite understand this. I mean, it obviously works. This one has over 500,000 views here.
Don't appear to be Japanese. But the point I want to make is that this thinking that no Japanese person could ever do anything wrong is the whole reason people are falling for these obvious scams and donating money to these people in the first place. I don't care what nationality people are, tricking your audience like this is obviously very low, but I have to admit that it does surprise me how gullible people online can be, because I don't think you need to be a Japan expert to immediately see through this when the storylines are so out there and the subtitles are so over the top.
No, for real though.
People making this content are trying to make me laugh. Even when our poor lonely divorced woman goes to the supermarket, every purchase is a life or death situation, because apparently paying 50 cents more than usual for her meat could risk dying of starvation the next day, which is why to her, even regular...
And then not only that, you could really just go to the supermarket when it's close to closing time. A lot of things actually are discounted around that time.
cheap fruits
And you really don't have to eat
gems in a
meat in Japan.
I mean, look at this shit. She literally says here that the difference of a few hundred yen could kill her at the end of the month. Like, this is...
What the heck?
How do people believe in this? With that money, I can put gas in the car. Okay, now I'm getting curious. Everything in her videos seem to revolve around this car, since she's constantly talking about how important it is for her, how she needs to fill her tank, and even most of her videos are filmed inside this stupid car. I have to find out what makes it so special. Now, I don't know much about cars, other than they usually have 4 wheels, but even someone as stupid as me can see that her car doesn't really look like...
It's a Mazda? And it doesn't even look old. No, for real.
Every day was a fight for survival. We can gather from the different shots that it seems to be a relatively new car that runs on diesel, at least according to her, and from her videos we are also able to see how the interior looks, including the dashboard and the black leather seats. However, the biggest single clue for figuring out what this car is all about is the Mazda logo that can be seen on the steering wheel when she enters the car in this clip. So now we just have to look through all the recently released Mazdas with a similar interior that run on diesel, and after doing some frame...
That's actually interesting though. I didn't know any Mazdas run on diesel still. I thought like that was really rare for any new cars to run on diesel.
Frame comparisons, I could bet my life, if I had one, that what she's driving is Mazda CX-5, specifically the Drive Edition, that retails around 4 million yen, which is more than the average yearly income of an entire household. And there is just no world in which someone is barely scraping by and driving a car like this. because it's basically like someone driving a brand new Tesla Cybertruck while claiming to be homeless.
No, for real. Not only that, it's just like, again, if you really are struggling that much and you're in Japan of all places, why are you driving? Like, it doesn't look like she's in like a big city. Yes, I know. But at the same time, if you were really struggling that much, you would most likely sell that car and take public transportation because it is at the very least reliable. It's not like you're here in the US outside of like the New York City metro area where public transportation is like literally like non-existent almost.
Donation to help with rice or gas. Even though many people donated ridiculous amounts of money to her so she could buy gas to go to the store.
That's wild though. They definitely donated more than enough for her to get gas. They gave her money to get gas for months in just that one video.
Worth to keep the car. Time for selling the car. She has no way of moving around safely without a car. This actually
in Japan. Okay.
She made. In her video, where she goes over her supposed budget, she makes...
Oh, in the countryside. Interesting.
Getting rid of the car is simply impossible because the supermarket is a 30-minute walk away.
30 minutes isn't bad though. But at the same time, yeah, in a blizzard is kind of tough. I won't lie.
And walking in a blizzard means getting stranded. In other words, going to a supermarket without a car would be a death sentence and she'd immediately die to a blizzard. Which is a funny thing to say when anyone can very clearly see from her videos that she...
But like the thing is, once again, if she was really like, let's say she did need a car. So Japan has this concept of key cars or K cars. And essentially they're very, very small cars. The closest thing to a K car that we have in the US is probably a Kia Soul. It's not Japanese, but these are typically smaller versions of regular cars. And if we go back a little bit in this video here, a good example of a K car would be like this little boxy car here. And there are other ones that aren't boxy like that, but typically you can actually really get a good K car, I suppose, for maybe like a few thousand, maybe like 4,000, and it'll still look pretty new and stuff like that. If she was really struggling, she would have at least resorted to getting one of those. So she doesn't need that car that she has now.
Her videos that she lives in a nice and affluent big modern city. Now, I was actually able to find exactly where she lives, and all I had to do was pay close attention to the landmarks in her videos, after which I just figured out which way she was driving and compared them to each other on the map. But for obvious reasons, I'm not going to share that information with you guys. Just trust me when I say that where she lives, there's plenty of supermarkets, and going outside...
Yeah, not only that, but the convenience store as well is also an option, but maybe the grocery store is cheaper.
Death sentence. Actually, the only snow-related death I could find in the whole area was from years ago when an old woman had a heart attack while shoveling snow in her driveway. I would say a good rule of thumb with these kind of videos is that if someone is visibly counting their money on camera to show their audience how little they have, I would be very much suspicious.
Yeah, it's most likely a grift then.
But I would say most people today pay their rent, electric bill, and car.
I'll be honest though, a lot of the legitimate ones that I've seen don't show their money. They don't show what their payday was. They may say what it is because obviously they want to be transparent with the audience just so they can know, I suppose. But they're not gonna actually just show them like what they're doing here, putting it on the ground and stuff. Showing what they're putting it towards.
Account, instead of mailing it in an envelope, which means that whenever these people withdraw money to play with it in front of the camera, they cannot be that poor if they can afford to use a couple $1,000s as props on their videos. Now, like I said before, there are an incredible number of people doing these kind of videos, and when I've talked about this before, I've gotten so many comments about how I'm completely wrong about this or that specific YouTuber, and how they're totally legit, only for me to check them out and realize they're still pretending to be poor.
Yeah. Especially with like how many views that has. That's actually insane. And the donations, not even the ad revenue that they're getting, but the donations in themselves, they're good, bro. They're good.
Or after receiving over $20,000 in donations.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is like more than like let's say if you worked at the convenience store in Japan, that's definitely more than someone's whole year's worth of salary.
Any comments questioning their legitimacy. And sure, the truth is, I don't know with a 100% certainty.
And that's just per video. Per video, they got 20,000, I think he said, right? Let me go back.
Questioning their legitimacy. $1,000 in donations and blocking any comments questioning.
No, he didn't specify. But if it was, then,
sure,
you know.
The truth is, I don't know with a 100% certainty who is faking exactly what, which is why I would like to remind all of you that since all of this is alleged, it would be for the best to not harass any of these individuals, since my aim here is not to do a witch hunt, but to simply showcase how
That's a good point.
easy it is to fool people on YouTube. And I just hope that people think twice before donating their hard-earned money to these individuals. Even though many of these channels, like this poor woman who's living the life of luxury, seem very suspicious to anyone who actually pays attention, it doesn't stop people from donating thousands of dollars to them. And
yeah, it's actually wild. But I think honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, it should show you the possibilities of how much you're able to make off of the internet, just based off of the fact that someone like Chud the Builder was able to get over $200,000 in donations after what he did. That should say enough right there. If he can get over $200,000 in donations and a community to support him after what he did, I think that should say enough and actually maybe perhaps even inspire you to do what you want to do, guys, because like that is actually wild.
Money from her audience, she is still living in poverty because, as she herself says, the funds from the super chat haven't reached her bank account yet. But once they do arrive, the very first thing she will do is to buy some delicious fruits and fresh hay for her 2 rabbits. Which makes me wonder, how long do I have to keep on donating for her to become my girlfriend?
You gotta donate forever. But anyways, guys, that was a pretty solid video. There's another one actually pretty similar to this I'm gonna check out soon. So be sure to stay tuned for the next upcoming reaction video. In the meantime, let me know some of you guys' thoughts and perhaps maybe some of your experiences of watching videos on YouTube where people are doing this grift here. Actually pretty insane. Once again, I've seen some legitimate people and you could definitely tell the difference for sure. But that one was just like so blatant that she's just grifting the viewers. It's kind of sad.